Welcome. My name is Dominika Kaczerowska-Spychalska. I'm the director of the Mixer of Smart Technologies Center at the Lodz University Faculty of Management. Today, Weronika Bartczak is with me. She's an expert from a cyber rescue company that deals with cybersecurity. Hello, Weronika.
Hello, Dominika. Thank you for inviting me here.
It's a pleasure for us. According to the report by the World Economic Forum, cyber attacks were one of the greatest threats last year. It concerns both companies, public administration units, as well as ordinary internet users. Weronika, do you think that cyber attacks are the new form of terrorism?
I would say probably yes. Of course, normal terrorism as we see it, as we experience it, will not probably vanish due to the possibilities that are offered by the internet. But terrorism is definitely something that the world has to prepare for. It plays a much bigger role than a few years back. The financial and health sector, the economy, because it can hit so many places. It can hit banks, hospitals, governments, can manipulate with stolen data. And I actually think that maybe even it will be more dangerous for the hospitals, the politicians, the stock exchange than for, let's say, FBI or intelligence agencies, because attacks on such places have more media coverage and they have a direct impact on human life. And data proves that actually more than 80% of attacks are financially motivated, while about 20% are about espionage. And as the internet offers so many possibilities, it has many advantages for hackers. It provides anonymity, it provides easier recruitment of members and promoting terrorist material thanks to social media. So yes, I think it will play a much bigger role than before.
It's horrible vision. Weronika, what forms of cyber attacks are the most popular now and which of them are the most dangerous?
I would say that while there are many types of cyber attacks, virtually every attack we encounter begins in phishing. Even if hackers use special software or hacking programs, the truth is the first step is mostly done through phishing. That is how they gain the access. Almost 1/3 of the malware sent to enterprises is ransomware, which is an encryption software that demands a ransom for decryption. Another very, very popular type of attack is using security vulnerabilities. So using vulnerabilities and errors in software that are becoming public, and that's how the hackers gain access. I would say also using breached login details, credentials. Now we have something called a dropper, which is very popular on mobile apps. This is a program that basically in the beginning is not malicious, but after some time it downloads the malware from the internet and the antivirus cannot handle it. And also DDoS attacks, which is denial of service attack. And this is using an infected botnet system, many devices, to simultaneously request the access to the system or website. And in result, of course, basically the website cannot be accessed to anyone else, which is very horrible for banks, for health systems. I would say that these are the most prominent now.
Okay, but these cyber attacks concern not only enterprises, but also key industries such as transport or energy or healthcare. Do you think that we, I don't know, be concerned about it?
Yes, of course, I would say that we should be concerned based on the number of many hacked politicians' accounts, based on the number of attacks on health service. I don't know if you know that, but there was a ransomware attack on a hospital and research center in Czech Republic last year. and many organized group actually distanced themselves from this accident and promised that they would not attack any health service until the pandemic is over. So it's actually nice to know that they have a soft spot for health service. But yes, certainly many sectors have to adapt to this new reality, and it's very bad for the companies. They want to return to work immediately. They don't want their work data to become public, which is why often they decide to pay ransom without actually knowing if the hacker will decrypt the database.
Okay, so what should a good business strategy of cybersecurity look like?
First of all, I would say that always the weakest link of the cybersecurity chain is human being, and I believe that still not so many companies invest in proper training for their employees, especially in the accounting and human resources departments. They are particularly vulnerable to attack. They have access to financial and personal data of the employees, but also the ability to transfer funds from the outside of company. The most frequently used channel is email. So it's crucial that the employees know how to spot a suspicious email. The companies often do not have the appropriate organization of roles, permissions, who has access to what one employee can do in the system. And right now, even with remote work, it's even more important to properly take care of that, because we take data outside of the company. We do not use safe networks like the company sets up for us. So I would say that a proper system should need something like connecting via VPN, which is a virtual private network, thanks to which even if we use our own home network, the data is safe. Limiting the amount of data that is available depending on what you do in the company. So not everybody has the access to the same data, which is especially prominent in small and medium-sized companies. The second factor of authentication, so not only putting in password, but also maybe using a physical key, which acts as a second authenticator. Appropriate backup. There is this rule of 3-to-1, which is you have to have 3 copies of backup stored on 2 different storage devices, and one of the copies should be off-site of the company for crisis. And of course, making the updates to systems necessary and basically mandatory. So even if there is a security vulnerability, the system is patched up immediately.
Okay, Weronika, but what with us, ordinary internet users? How can we build our own system of cybersecurity?
I would say, well, we have some of the attacks are not only for enterprises but also for individual users. But I would say that maybe like ransomware is more profitable for fraudsters if they try to catch a big target like a company. And with smaller targets like us, it's maybe not so prominent. Like, I don't know if you heard, but there's this big company, CD Projekt Red, which is responsible for The Witcher and the Cyberpunk games. And it was recently hit by ransomware. It's a very big target for fraudsters. But like phishing methods that we see, like I have your private photos and videos and I'm going to share it, maybe for the fraudster, maybe better to target bigger groups, because there's just more, I would say, chance to actually get money from more people than from a company. I would also say that we have to remember that other entities are behind the attacks on enterprises and individual users, because with individual users, basically, I could just buy an email database and written malware, and I can just send it everywhere, and that's it. But attacks on enterprises are organized by organized criminal groups. For individual users, we have to remember about mobile risks. So like application stores are trying to control what is in their what they are offering to the clients, but of course they cannot control everything. There's also a matter of applications that are going undetected because they are downloaded unofficially, so outside of the official market, impersonating like shipping companies, and that you have to download this app, otherwise you won't have a code to pick up the package, while it will eavesdrop on all the data on your device. Individual users are also hit by fake shopping websites that are very often advertised on Facebook, and while Facebook checks if the ad is up to the terms and conditions of their service, it doesn't check if it's a legitimate enterprise. So I would say yes, phishing, mobile threats, and also Internet of Things is very prominent right now because there are so many new devices. And if you buy a cheap device, there's a very big chance that it will not have the security layer for the application. And basically anyone can go into your printer, your nanny cam, or even sometimes I've seen erotic gadgets. So it's just a free real estate for everybody right now.
Okay, last question. Do you think that the number of cyber attacks will increase, or a degree of their complexity, or perhaps both?
I would say that research shows that number of attacks is going up every year. So of course it will go up. And I can see that it's more sophisticated because of course people learn about these attacks, and fraudsters have to basically come up with something new. It's interesting that every major change we see, like in government systems or in companies, like let's say there is a new website for signing up for vaccine, and of course, just as it starts, there is a text message campaign using phishing links to obtain personal data. There is a change in action website where you can buy things and send them. They are introducing a new shipping system. So of course there is a phishing for credit card details. So I can see that basically every move we make, even if it's in the security direction, fraudsters are thinking of exploiting that system. And I would say that we have to talk more about cybersecurity in public, not only in like security websites, security media, but also like normal everyday news. Yes, because if we don't, nobody will know about it basically. And I would also say that this is something that should be introduced to education. Because as parents, people, of course, know the dangers of meeting strangers online, maybe of, accessing some websites that are not appropriate for age of the children, but they don't know that they should teach their children about safe passwords, safe data. So this is something I think should be considered something very valuable in the curriculum, and should be taught to every child, young person, and also adults. So because we spend so much time online, and we are not just made for it, right now. We do not have the proper knowledge to handle ourselves safely online.
Right. Okay, Veronika, thank you very much. Well, one thing is certain. Digital transformation will proceed, which requires a continuous discussion about cybersecurity and our increased awareness in this area. Thank you for your time. Goodbye and be safe.
Thank you.